Tony D and Little Joan sitting in a sunbeam, and this is a screenwriter's rant on Heads of State, starring John Cena and Idris Elba as the president and the UK Prime Minister, respectively. Is this a prequel to Idiocracy? Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 17, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. John Cena is the president. He was a movie star who becomes the president. And he's the goofy one. And then Idris is the very serious UK Prime Minister. Their plane gets shot down, and they somehow survive. And then they have to work together in a buddy movie to get back before they're killed. And they, of course, can fight very well because they're heads of state. And we all know that all our presidents and prime ministers can do that. You also have Priyanka Chopra. I'm probably saying that wrong. Jonas. I think she's Bollywood star as the competent woman who will save both of them, of course. Of course, we can't have any competent men, although Jack Quaid's in it as the guy with all the weapons. I think he's in a CIA safe house and arms everybody up. The movie is insanely ridiculous. It's going to be crazy. Crazy one-liners. Directed by Ilya Nashula, a PG-13, rated PG-13 for mild adult things. Ilya directed Nobody. And that was pretty good. Story by Harrison Query. Screenplay by Joss Applebaum, Andre Nemec, and Harrison Query. Interesting name. New original movie July 2nd. This is on Prime. So, there he is with Jack Quaid. I got some problems with this movie. Mainly John Cena. I kind of can't get past him. His ridiculous apology to the Chinese over his comments about Taiwan. I can't get past it. I refuse to watch anything he's in. I almost refuse to look at this, but it is the nexus of politics and movies. You kind of can't get past that because of the president and the UK Prime Minister. It's very tropey, right? Because you've got a president who's kind of goofy and was a movie star. And then, of course, you have Idris Elba, who's the UK Prime Minister, who's actually British. And that makes sense. Except, the UK Prime Minister right now is a mess. And obviously, Trump's no John Cena. He can't, I assume he couldn't shoot a bunch of dudes. So it doesn't, it's not reality. So it's not going to be specifically about them. However, when you're dealing with heads of state, there are some political stuff inherent in that concept, even though it's a totally insanely ridiculous movie. So you're going to have one-liners, and the U.S. president looks like a clown, and the Prime Minister of England looks like he's the competent one of the two. But then, of course, you have the female who's going to save them, who's the actual competent one. They're too busy arguing with each other while she's doing all the heavy lifting, which is just standard now in Hollywood. Oh, don't worry, everybody, a girl has come and she's gonna save us. So the problem with doing this as a comedy is, like, comedy has to be grounded in some kind of reality that, even if it's not real life, it has to make sense. And so you got a lot of things working against it. the first thing I think that would work against it, and I don't think this is even going to theaters, is that if you're going to have the U.S. president in, you've got a very polarized American electorate, right? So you get people who hate Trump and people who like Trump. And whether or not Cena represents Trump, I don't think he does, but it sort of represents the president, and there's going to be some association there. So if Cena looks like a clown, the people who like Trump are going to hate it. The people who hate Trump will kind of like it, but then at the end when he wins, they're going to hate it, and the Trumpers would kind of like it. So that's a really fine line to walk to get to please those two audiences, I think. However, like a lot of projects, I don't think they were thinking for an American audience, especially if it's content on Prime. I think they're going for a more international audience here. So that's why they're relying on many tropey things. So John Cena as an ex-movie star who's the president, that makes sense from an international standpoint. I think people around the world would be like, oh yeah, the Americans had a movie star president. Movie stars run for president and run for office. The UK Prime Minister, oh, he's a sophisticated guy. Yeah, that scans, sort of in a broad, tropey way. Now, the female agent, I don't know where she's supposed to be from in the movie. Again, I think she's like a Bollywood star. I got it here on the IMDb. Let me see. Let's see her credits. I think she was she in Citadel? Was she the one in Citadel? Yeah. Yeah, she was the in Citadel, she was in Matrix Resurrections. Ugh. She was in Baywatch. Oh, okay. And now here are her Bollywood credits. You can see she was in a lot of Bollywood movies. Holy crap, was she in a lot of movies? And she looks reasonably young too. So this is, she's there to cross over. You know, they're hoping that the Indian audiences who are fans of hers will come and watch this movie. Which isn't a bad strategy when you're talking about content. When you're talking about an American audience, I don't know. But the entire concept, and of course, Jack Quaid, who's just there. He's just in everything now. So yeah, Jack Quaid, I don't know. I think he'll just be fun. I think the movie will just generally be popcorn, you know, brainless. It's a kind of movie you kind of aren't super invested in. You put it on maybe with a group of friends and you kind of talk through half the movie because most of it's so stupid you don't even pay attention. And then you're like making food or hanging out or whatever. And then you kind of tune in for the big scenes. Maybe you wind it back if there's a particularly good line. But for the most part, it's not even worth doing that. So it'd be the kind of movie that if John Cena wasn't in it, I would put it on and kind of half pay attention to it. Probably do something else while I, like play cards or something. But, I mean, personally, I just won't support it if John Cena's in it. But it is on Prime. So if you got Prime, it's essentially free to you, I think. Yeah, overall, I think... Yeah, I don't know. Recasting Cena. Maybe if you put a comedian in his slot, if it was Dave Chappelle, oh yeah, I'd be all about it, right? But then, Chappelle would be, he's not really an action guy, but that shouldn't even matter in a movie like this, right? It'd be funny to see, because Chappelle did the president back on his sketch show, and that was pretty funny. So if he did that kind of president, that would be way over the top though. But yeah, comedian as the president might be better for a comedy movie as opposed to a wrestler who he's not really funny, he's not really a good actor. You know, he looks muscular, which works for the movie star part. You know, but doesn't really work for much else, in my opinion. Or maybe just another actor, you know, like a Jake Gyllenhaal, who's been in action movies. A little young, I guess. You know, back in the day, it would have been Harrison Ford if he wasn't, like, you know, in his 80s at this point. Although, that would kind of work when you think about it. I mean, the American politicians right now are super old, a lot of them. So I'm not sure who this is even supposed to be, and I'm not sure the satire is going to land for, you know, other than the most broad kind of satire about Americans and the Brits, and so it's kind of going to be stupid. So I think a lot of people will be checked out on this, and they'll sort of dip in when the big stunts happen. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, I think if you're going to go big in a comedy like this, you need to either go even bigger or the other way, it's a little more realistic. Like if they gave him a beard and tried to like pass him off as JD Vance almost, like a JD Vance, and didn't make him a clown, like even though it could still be funny, it would be grounded in a little more reality so the jokes would land, you know? And then you made the UK guy the dopey one. That would work for me. I'd like to see that. But nah, they're going the other way. Anyhow, Heads of State. If you want to see it, it's on Prime in July, I think they said. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on the green site, the orange site, and the black site for more videos. Friday, I'll be in Woodbridge, New Jersey for the Halfway to Halloween event, 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Then Saturday's the big one, New Jersey Folk Festival at Rutgers on the Cook campus from 10 to 4. I'll be doing my talk from 10 to 10:20. Sunday, I'll be at Earth Fair from 11 to 4. That's in East Hampton, New Jersey at historic Smithville Park. Hope to see you there. See you tomorrow.